It's Oscar season. And it's not just, a period of 3 or 4 months dedicated to me, as much as that would be lovely. Um, it is possibly the most stressful time of year for any cinephile, and that is predicting who will win at the Oscars. Now, this year, across the board, has just been pure chaos. There's a few lock-ins, okay? There's a couple categories or people where it's like, I would be willing to bet my entire bank account on that. Now, okay, fair enough. Right now, that's not a lot of money, but we can work with it. We can maybe get some returns, okay? Because I know some betting companies are doing bets and predictions for the Oscars. But more importantly, what are my thoughts? Forget about what the real critics and professionals say. What about the guy that posts on TikTok to 2,500 people? They want to know. So we'll get stuck in. I hope you're all well, by the way. Please do follow, subscribe, wherever you're watching or listening. This is actually going on to Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. So it's for everybody. Hello. Please go follow me on all of those platforms. Wherever you're not watching, go follow or subscribe. It would mean the world. So I'm going to be going through absolutely every category. That is the below the line ones as well, including your shorts, your animateds, your documentaries. Now, I've done the maths, about 90% or around the 90% mark, 96, 97, 97, 98% of the films nominated across the board this year. So I've done a pretty good job. I'm pretty proud of myself. Hands up. I haven't seen all of them. That'll be next year's achievement, is to watch 100% of the nominated films. I am going to Cannes Film Festival this year. So if you are intrigued by hearing about some films before the general public, then follow along, because I'll be doing vlogs and reviews and stuff of things I've seen. Hint, like Secret Agent, I saw in May last year at Cannes, and I've got some thoughts on that movie, so we can discuss that later on. Right, so let's get started. I will caveat that these are predictions. In most cases, I will probably say who I would like to win as well as the prediction. But if in general I don't, this is a prediction combined with what I know of the industry, what I've been hearing from friends and critics and general just research. Okay, this is what I think will be the outcome of the Oscars. So let's get started on live action short. Now, I posted a video on TikTok a couple of days ago saying you can actually find a lot of the shorts online for free. You can check Canopy if you're a college or university student, or you have a public library card. They have a lot of the movies on there for free, and YouTube have a couple, so make sure you keep an eye out for those. So your live action short nominations are as follows. You have A Friend of Dorothy, Two People Exchanging Saliva, The Singers, Jane Austen's period drama, and Butcher's Stain. Now, The Singers does have a Netflix backing behind it, so a lot of money to help campaign this movie. Via Gold Derby, which is one of the strongest prediction sites for nominations and winners of award ceremonies, has A Friend of Dorothy as its winner. But I'm going to go between the two. I think Two People Exchanging Saliva will win. It kind of gives the vibes of something that the Academy would love. I adored it. It's my favorite by far. That's who I'm predicting. For documentary short, I'll hold my hands up. I've not seen any of these nominations, so my fault. But via prediction sites and reading a few papers here and there, Variety, etc., All the Empty Rooms is predicted to be the winner of this category. The other nominations are as follows: Armed Only with a Camera, The Devil is Busy, Children No More, Were and Are Gone, and Perfectly a Strangeness. We'll fire through some of these early categories. Again, if you have any thoughts, make sure you drop them down in the comment section below. You can comment on Spotify, YouTube, or TikTok if that's where you're watching it. Animated short, I have seen 3 of these. I've got to be honest, Forever Green and Retirement Plan were both great. I think Forever Green looks amazing and it's just super cute, but it's not as powerful as Butterfly, which you can find on YouTube for free. I will try and link some of them down below if I remember, but otherwise just search up Butterfly. I'll probably be putting a picture up of it as well. It's truly beautiful. Definitely something the Academy will love. I hope and think it will win this category for animated shorts. International film might be one of the strongest categories across the board in terms of nominations. You have The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident, Voice of Hin Rajab, and Sirat. Now, no other choice has technically been snubbed here. I do think Park Chan-wook should have been guaranteed a nomination at least. That movie is fantastic, and you can find it on Mubi But who would you take out in this scenario? Maybe voice of Hindrajab. Not entirely sure. I think it does deserve to be there. But the winner, most importantly, will most definitely be Sentimental Value. We know that Brazilian film gets a lot of love, and I think Secret Agent could get a huge push. But generally, Sentimental Value sits quite well with who will be voting on this. So how does voting actually work at the Oscars? Well, over 10,000 eligible industry professionals, including filmmakers, actors, technicians, are a part of the voting body. When it comes to nominations, they vote within their own branches, so directors, for example. But when it comes to the final voting, everybody that's eligible can vote for everything. It's just that slightly different for the best picture. That is done via a ranking. So there's some maths that goes on there rather than a direct winner. Documentary feature next. Well, of course, Netflix have the backing behind The Perfect Neighbor. So that is pretty much guaranteed to win. I also think it's very good, and it's probably been seen by the most people. And the Academy voters have had some backlash over the years. They don't watch all of the films. They sometimes skip animated because they're like, oh, well, now my kids are grown up. I don't really watch the animated films, which is just crazy. And we need to have a look into that. But that's a whole nother topic for another day. So alongside The Perfect Neighbor, which I predict will win, you have Mr. Nobody Against Putin, The Alabama Solution, Come See Me in the Good Light, and Cutting Through the Rocks. The last three I haven't seen. I do hear some wonderful things about them. And even if one of those movies doesn't win at the Oscars, it's still been nominated. It's 5 of the best documentary features over the last 12 months. You should still seek those movies out. We're getting into some of the big categories now. Animated feature, your 5 nominations are as follows: Elio, Arco, Little Amelie, Zootopia 2, and K-pop Demon Hunters. Now, I've not seen Arco. It's pretty limited in the UK right now. It's only being released, I think, actually wide in about 10 days' time as of recording. So I will try and seek that out. But amongst the others, I absolutely adore Little Amelie. I saw it at London Film Festival in October of last year. That would be my winner if I could actually, vote. But it will most definitely be K-pop Demon Hunters. This is a lock. This is 100% guarantee. There will be a similar sort of outcome for Best Visual Effects, with your 5 nominations being Jurassic World Rebirth, which, to be fair, the dinosaurs do look kind of good. You can say what you like about that movie. The Lost Bus, which is on Apple TV. The POV shots from the fire is truly amazing, and I'm glad it's got its recognition. F1, which does look good. Sinners also. But guaranteed, customary award for James Cameron goes to Avatar Fire and Ash, which is your final nomination and guaranteed win. Best sound is really interesting because the winner hasn't even been nominated. In my opinion, it should be Warfare, an A24 feature last year that just looked, sounded, and was performed incredibly. Didn't even receive a nomination. However, second best would be Sirat. I think if you've seen that movie, see it in cinema if you haven't, by the way. But if you have seen it, that rocks you to your core. It is genuinely something out of this world, but I predict it won't win. The winner will be F1 alongside other nominations, which are Sinners, Sirat, Frankenstein, and One Battle After Another. F1 only has a couple nominations across the board, so Apple are putting a lot of money behind promoting that film and campaigning it within the voting circle. Best Song has some great nominations this year. You have Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verdi. You've got Train Dreams from Train Dreams, which I adored. Dear Me, but from Diane Warren Relentless. Now, interesting, Diane Warren has been nominated 17 times at the Oscars and has never won. That should change one day. But if you want to know more about it, watch the documentary Diane Warren Relentless. It's very interesting. I Lied to You, Sinners. Miles Ken's actually going to be performing that at the Oscars alongside Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, which is also a guaranteed lock. It's one of the most streamed songs of last year. The film was the most watched film of the year. Some crazy hundreds of millions of hours that movie was streamed. I think Sony and Netflix are probably kicking themselves. They didn't have it in theaters for longer. Yes, they did the sing-along thing, but that could have made buku bucks. So just to confirm, my prediction for winning that category is Golden K-pop Demon Hunters. Best Score has some fantastic nominations. You have Bargonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Whilst I think Frankenstein was truly amazing, I remember seeing it in IMAX, so visibly, and audibly incredible. And I actually have, I'm going to move my screen out of the way so I can see it myself, over here, a phenomenal IMAX poster for Frankenstein. Where Frankenstein has his back sort of carved open, I think you can see it, most of you. It's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. But in terms of nominations, Sinners will be the winner of this category, almost guaranteed. Ludwig Göransson has kind of worked with all of the greats. He's done a lot of work with Christopher Nolan. He is currently on the Odyssey right now, finishing that up. And Sinners, he did a fantastic job. He likes working with Ryan Coogler. I think he is the new Hans Zimmer. Okay, Hans Zimmer is still fantastic, did incredible work with the things like F1, but I don't know. I think he's like the new guy. He will sort of be considered one of the best to do it. And Sinners is a pretty much guaranteed lock for best score, in my opinion. Production design, your nominations are Sinners, Hamnet, Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, and One Battle After Another. I think Frankenstein is probably the predictable win here. GDT makes it sort of his aim to make sure everyone knows that he loves and always does use, when he can, practical sets. And I think for Frankenstein, both him and Netflix really push that, and that will definitely help in this category. So production design, my prediction is that it will go to Frankenstein. Makeup and hairstyling is one of the categories where I've actually not seen two of the nominations. That's Ugly Stepsister and Kuko. I do think Sinners, Frankenstein, and Smashing Machine are all fantastic. I do predict that it will go to Frankenstein, though. For editing, all 5 nominations are fantastic. I know I say that for like all of the categories, but to be honest, there are still some like maybe wrong nominations, which we will talk about in a little bit. But for editing, you have Marty Supreme, Sinners, Sentimental Value, F1, and One Battle After Another. I do think genuinely the editing in F1 is very good. Whilst I might not be the biggest fan of that movie, the editing is quite good. Same for Marty Supreme, but it will be One Battle After Another that wins that category. Costume design, your 5 nominations are Avatar, Fire and Ash, Marty Supreme, Hamnet, Sinners, and Frankenstein. Now, I've been seeing online some people being like, well, how's Avatar, Fire and Ash nominated? It's CGI, it's blah, blah, blah. There's still an artist that has to draw and design what it looks like for those characters, what their design looks like, what their costumes are like. And, you know, with Kiri when she's growing up and she has this like shawl that's over her and they had to intertwine that with the motion capture. It's really impressive and I think it deserves the love. I'm so glad it got nominated for costume design. But let's be honest, it's probably Frankenstein that wins this category. Cinematography, I think my winner isn't who will win. I would love it to go to Train Dreams. It is one of the most beautiful movies you will ever see. Even if you watch it on Netflix at home, even on a small screen, it looks fantastic. Obviously, see it in the biggest way you possibly can. The other nominations are Sinners, One Battle After Another, Frankenstein, and Marty Supreme. Those final 4 have been nominated a lot across the board, so very impressive. I do think Sinners actually takes home cinematography. I think that's also helped by the fact Ryan Coogler has done a huge push on his love for film and the different types of film that you can have, the cameras, the styles, even the aspect ratios. And they had that viral video last year where he spoke about it in depth. And I think that's really helped him amongst the Academy and just general viewers about what his passion is. So the cinematography is definitely going to go to him and his team. Casting up next, I don't really understand how casting works still. Is it like best individual casting of a character, best ensemble, best charisma amongst the cast? I gotta be honest, I don't get how it works. Your nominations are as follows, though: Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Secret Agent, One Battle After Another, and Sinners, who I think will be the winner of that category. Of course, Sinners. That one, in truth, is a mix between me just thinking the entire cast is perfectly done and some prediction websites and Variety and other papers that I've read. So it's a bit of an amalgamation, a small guess, which I guess they all are their predictions, but I don't know on that one. But I hope I'm right with Sinners. I think Sinners will get another win via original screenplay. Amongst its nominations are Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, It Was Just an Accident, and Blue Moon. Shout out to Jafar Panahi because It Was Just an Accident is truly phenomenal. I would love it to win everything if possible. The ending of that film still sends shivers down my spine. And what he had to do to get that movie made is a fantastic story. You should definitely look it up. But Sinners will win original screenplay. Adapted screenplay, however, your nominations are Bugonia, Frankenstein, Train Dreams, Hamnet, and One Battle After Another. I do think GDT did a pretty good job of adapting Frankenstein, but it's pretty much a lock that One Battle After Another will win adapted screenplay. We are entering the final few huge categories. Remember to follow, subscribe, like, whatever you have to do. I would appreciate it. I spent hours writing this all out, predicting, rewatching movies, having a good look across the internet about where, industry specialists think it might go. And in some cases, I've gone against them. which maybe isn't the smartest idea. And I don't know whether I'm thinking too much of myself, but the Oscars are going to be mental this year. I think there will be some huge shock wins, and we're going to get into some of those in a moment. Supporting actor is where it starts to get really exciting. We have the 5 nominations: Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value, Delroy Lindo for Sinners, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and Benicio del Toro also for One Battle After Another. Now, there's a pretty even split in terms of prediction statistics between Sean and Stellan, but there are some rumours that Delroy could sneak through if the voting is split between the first two, being Sean Penn and Stellan Skarsgård. There is quite a lot of chatter that Delroy could finally sneak through. Now, Delroy hasn't won any of the big awards, and I would also like to caveat that only twice in the last 15 years has the winner of the SAG or ACTRA Awards not won the Oscars. So I'd like to remind you that Sean Penn won at the ACTRA Awards this year, and the Academy just adore him. Like, people think the world of that man, and rightly so. He would be my winner for this category, and I think he will be as well. My prediction is that Sean Penn wins Supporting Actor. This is where it gets really juicy. We're hitting Supporting Actress next. These are your nominations: Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Inga Ibs-Dottir for Sentimental Value, you have Wunmi Mosaku for Sinners, Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another, and Amy Madigan for Weapons. Now, Teyana Taylor and Wunmi Mosaku took home the Golden Globe and the BAFTA respectively. However, this is a very interesting fact, similar to that of Supporting Actor, but only once in the last 15 years has the winner of the SAG, or now ACTRA Awards, not won the Oscar. Only once in 15 years. That is a crazy stat. Okay, crazy stat. And supporting actor or actress has sometimes been used as sort of a legacy win. You know, you've not won before, you've been around the industry for a long time, we love you, you've had other greater performances, but now that you've been nominated again, here's your win. So with that, all combined together, I'm going to predict that Amy Madigan wins Best Supporting Actress. I know maybe that's a hot take, but she's won some of the big awards already. She picked up the ACTRA Awards. I think it's time we accept that Amy Madigan will win Best Supporting Actress. Now, her performance in Weapons is very good. For me, I would probably go Teyana Taylor for One Battle. I think her very limited screen time changed my perspective on that film. Her performance is so powerful. So my winner isn't winning, but Amy Madigan, it's still deserved. That's my prediction. Best Actor, your 5 nominations are Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Wagner Moura for Secret Agent, Timothy Chalamet for Marty Supreme, and Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. Now, there's a few things to break down here. We obviously know that Timothy Chalamet has been campaigning for the last year or so about how great he wants to be. He wants to be one of the greats. He's inspired by the greats, and that the Oscar would help him achieve that. He's kind of dismissed other awards. He's like, you know, this helps, but it's not what I want. I think he might have pushed it a bit too far. Now, there's a story going around recently that he doesn't respect the arts, and he's saying like ballet and opera or whatever, but his mum and sister are both a part of that, so I think he isn't saying that he doesn't respect them or whatever, think they're worthwhile. I don't even know what the story was. It's kind of stupid. Don't believe everything you read online. He then had to go and like defend himself. It's silly, okay? His wording in the interview is not great, but also that came out on the 6th and voting closed on the 5th, I believe. So he'll be safe from being cancelled. I just think anyway, he might have pushed it a bit too far with his hopes and dreams sort of out loud. Ethan Hawke and Wagner Moura, I'm sorry, you don't have a chance in this category. Fantastic performances, fantastic people. I just don't think it's going to happen. Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't care. Okay? He should have won way before Revenant. I think Revenant is not his strongest performance. It was quite good. It kind of felt like a legacy win on that one as well. So, again, might be a hot take, might be surprising, but I do believe that Michael B. Jordan will win the Best Actor at the Oscars this year. And deservedly so. My winner my winner would probably be Timothy Chalamet. I think his and Michael's performance are truly fantastic. I mean, all of them are great, of course. I think Timothy Chalamet carried Marty Supreme a bit more, as in he had a lot more of that film on his shoulders, and then you really hate the guy. You really love the guy. You're crying with him at the end, and it's just such a beautiful arc that I think Timothy Chalamet displays so well. Then there's the argument that Michael B. Jordan is doing two roles, and that they're so polarizing in the fact that, yes, one dresses up in blue, one's in red, but Smoke and Stack are such polarizing opposite characters. It's such an impressive performance. And to do that twice within the same film, like, that should be recognized. I just think he's loved so much amongst Hollywood. He is meant to be one of the good guys. I just see this being his win. So yeah, Michael B. Jordan is my prediction for Best Actor at the Oscars this year. Best Actress, this should be pretty easy despite it being the biggest category amongst the last few. Kate Hudson got a sort of legacy nomination for Song Sung Blue. Emma Stone for Bugonia. Renate Reinsve for Sentimental Value. Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. And Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. Now, if Emma Stone won for Bugonia, she would have to be categorized as one of the greatest actresses ever. Alongside actor Daniel Day-Lewis, she'd be the only person to have 3 Oscar wins. But it is Jessie Buckley. That is 100 and 1,000% chance she will win this category. She has swept across award season this year. Jessie Buckley for Hamnet is a guaranteed lock, and my prediction for Best Actress at the Oscars of 2026. Now, possibly the biggest 2 categories of all. We have Best Director and Best Picture. We'll do Best Picture last. So Best Director, your nominations are Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Joaquin Trier for Sentimental Value, Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, and Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. Now, PTA has been nominated 11 times in his career for the Oscars and has never won once. That should be recognised, because surely that stat has to come to an end at some point. Many would say that One Battle After Another is not even PTA's best film. It is truly phenomenal, and I think that shows what a great filmmaker he is, because if One Battle After Another isn't your best, whichever one you decide that to be, must be the most incredible thing ever. And I think there's a good argument to say that. Ryan Coogler for Sinners. I think this is the top 2 are definitely Ryan Coogler and PTA. Chloe Zhao, it'd be amazing, but I don't think Hamlet as a film was quite transformative enough. Whilst we are, of course, talking about direction, you kind of got to take in the whole picture here. Same for Joachim Trier and Josh Safdie. Sinners, it truly is fantastic, but I'm going to go the Best Director winner at the Oscars this year will be Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. I think finally it's his time. With over 10 nominations over his career, it's about time he won something. And deservedly so, and should have won in the past. But it is going to be PTA for One Battle After Another. So we move on to the biggest one of all, Best Picture. 10 nominations. You have F1, we'll talk about that. Bugonia, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, Train Dreams, Secret Agent, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Sinners, and One Battle After Another. F1 shouldn't be nominated. There are so many other films that should be in that top 10 above F1. The movie is fine. It's a great dad movie. Stereotypical grouping of a movie there. It's obviously for everyone, but it's a dad movie. Bugonia is supposedly one of the weaker Yorgos Lanthimos movies. I've actually never seen any other Yorgos movie. I have Lobster at the top of my watch list, so I will get there. I just wasn't a huge fan of it anyway. Like a 3.5. Marty Supreme is fantastic, should be in that top 10. Sentimental Value should be in that top 10. Train Dreams also. Secret Agent also. Frankenstein also. Hamlet, sure. Sinners and One Battle After Another. I would throw in No Other Choice, and it was just an accident. It's very rare for us to ever have more than 3 international films within the top 10. So the fact that we got 2 with Sentimental Value and Secret Agent is still pretty good. But the Academy needs to have a hard look at itself. Why do they hate Park Chan-wook so much? Like, what's the reasoning behind this? I don't know. I think your top two contenders here are, of course, One Battle After Another and Sinners. I think Sinners was such a huge genre blend, and the Academy might have been like surprised by it. Now, some are saying online that it's a worse version of Dusk Till Dawn, but I'm going to tell you this, okay? It is not Dusk Till Dawn. It's its own movie. Ryan Coogler has said openly Dusk Till Dawn inspired Sinners. So many films inspire the other films that you love. Get over it, okay? Doesn't make them an adaptation, doesn't make them better or worse. They're their own thing. Sinners is the better movie. Just okay, just we could say that. Um, I just think with what Ryan Coogler has done, all of its elements, his passion behind it, his castings, genuinely, it's so good. Sinners is the more polarizing film in terms of opinion than One Battle After Another. There are more people that like One Battle After Another than there are Sinners, I think, on average. But with PTA winning director and everybody voting in and Best Picture being a ranking, I think a lot of people might rank Sinners above One Battle After Another because they've gone, oh, well, I'm giving PTA Best Director, so I'll put Sinners above for one. But One Battle After Another, we're a close second. There will obviously be some where it's the other way around or whatever. So it's going to be very close. And I'll be intrigued to know how close. I don't know whether we can find out the actual answers. I'm going to predict that Sinners wins Best Picture at the Oscars of 2026. Yeah, I've gone bold on a few of these categories. Again, let me know down below what you think. Sinners, I have it, I think, for 6 wins. One Battle After Another has 4 wins. Frankenstein 3, and K-Pop Demon Hunters with 2. Before we finish, let me tell you all of the winners for each category. Quickfire. Live action short. 2 people exchanging saliva. Documentary short. All the Empty Rooms. Animated short. Butterfly. International film. Sentimental Value. Documentary feature. The Perfect Neighbor. Animated feature, K-Pop Demon Hunters. Best visual effects, Avatar Fire and Ash. Best sound, F1. Best song, Golden K-Pop Demon Hunters. Best score, Sinners, Ludwig Göransson. Production design, Frankenstein. Makeup and hairstyling, Frankenstein. Editing, One Battle After Another. Costume design, Frankenstein. Cinematography, Sinners. Casting, Sinners. Original screenplay, Sinners. Adapted screenplay, One Battle After Another. Supporting actor, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another. Supporting actress, Amy Madigan, Weapons. Best actor, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. Best actress, Jessie Buckley, Hamnet. Best director, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another. And best picture, Sinners. That is my prediction for the Oscars of 2026. We'll be back to try and figure out how well I did. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, share the video, everything you can to get this out. I appreciate all of your support as always. Fingers crossed that I'm right. I'm happy to be wrong in some of these categories. I've got to be honest. So let me know your thoughts down below. I can't wait for the Oscars this Sunday, 15th of March. I'll see you soon.